Hello, my name's Simonize, and welcome to another Simonize Guide video. Today, we're talking about rogue gearing in the Season of Mastery. With the gear made available in Phase 1, rogues are sure to be very strong damage dealers in raids, possibly the best damage dealers in Phase 1 of Season of Mastery. And I'm going to tell you about all the equipment you need to make that happen. If you like these kind of videos, be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel. It really supports my work, and let's get to it. This video will cover both pre-raid and Phase 1 gearing for rogues in Season of Mastery. Season of Mastery will have phases that move faster than they did in Classic. That means fewer Ragnaros kills before Blackwing Lair comes out, fewer Nefarian kills before Encourage comes out. You're going to have much more limited loot availability. Because of the faster phases, you may not be able to get every item that you want each phase. It will be important to prioritize your raid loot to be sure you pick up the pieces that are most significant to your character's damage output. In Season of Mastery, the sword and dagger talent specializations for rogues are well balanced. Which specialization is better comes down to the power level of the weapons that you can actually get your hands on. The best available at different stages of the game, often daggers. At the pre-raid level, we have Lobotomizer and Distracting Dagger being a clear winner over the best available swords, Dalaran's Sacred Charge, and Dalaran's Tribal Guardian. At the raid level, we again have daggers being the clear winner, with Perdition's Blade and Corehound Tooth outperforming Viskeg and Brutality Blade. If you're going to go all the way to PvP rank 14 and gather the Grand Marshal and High Warlord weapons, then it's a fair toss-up between the swords and daggers because they're very equal in power level. I would recommend using daggers. And with that said, let's get on to the dagger pre-raid best in slot. The main feature of this best in slot is the Dark Mantle set. This is a very powerful set, and you'll be using at least 4 pieces of it all the way through Encourage in Phase 5. The 4-piece bonus is what you're really after here. That's the strongest bonus on this set, the chance on melee attack to restore 35 energy. That's the sauce right there. Now you'll also want to use 2 pieces of the Devil Saw armor set, the legs and the gauntlets, because this gives you access to another very powerful set bonus. I'm not going to go through every single item on this list and show its stats, but I do want to highlight a couple of them. Don Julio's band and the Lobotomizer both come from getting exalted with the Alterac Valley Battleground faction. These are very good, and Don Julio's band will last you through Phase 1 as a best-in-slot ring, so it's definitely something you want to pick up anyways. Hand of Justice is an incredibly powerful trinket from Emperor Dagran Thorison in Blackrock Depths. It's definitely your strongest trinket in your pre-raid and Phase 1 setups, and will be even used throughout Phase 2 as your second best trinket to Drakefang Talisman. Distracting Dagger comes from Prince Tortheldrin in Darmal West and gives you an incredibly valuable increase to your dagger skill. Weapon skill is important because it influences how much damage your glancing blows deal. When you attack an enemy that's 3 levels higher than you, which is all the bosses, 40% of your attempted auto attacks will be glancing blows that deal reduced damage and cannot be critical strikes. How much reduced damage they deal depends on your weapon skill. All rogues are going to be able to get to at least 305 through talents, but you really want to get to at least 308 to minimize that glancing blow damage reduction. So getting bonus weapon skill is an incredible boon to your character's damage output, which makes Distracting Dagger very good. Now, we have some options on this pre-raid setup, some other items that are very similar or just slightly worse than the items here if you can't manage to get every exact item right here. First up, we have the Pendant of Celerity that drops from Lord Valthalak, who's the last boss that you summon when you're completing the quest line for Dark Mantle Tunic. You can kill him over and over again and hope to get Pendant of Celerity, or you can go for the Mark of Forging quest reward. They're both basically on par in terms of power level. The Blackhand's Breath trinket is a quest reward, so that's a reliable one to get, but Hand of Justice is a drop from a boss in BRD that a lot of people are going to be after. That one could be very difficult to get, so your next best option is going to be the Royal Seal of Eldra Thalas. That comes from Dire Maul. You're going to get a book called Garona, A Study on Stealth and Treachery, which you can buy on the auction house, and then you just turn in at the library in Dire Maul to receive this powerful trinket. Now for the range slot, we have Black Crow and Satyr's Bow. Both actually have identical stats on them, 3 agility and 1% increased chance to hit. So you could go with either of those, but what you actually want is your calibrated boomstick. This is a bind on equip world drop epic, so it's kind of rare. You can't particularly farm for it. Your best bet is to just farm gold and hope it pops up for cheap on the auction house. Any one of these options is going to be very good, and the precisely calibrated boomstick is only a little bit better than Black Crow or Satyr's Bow. We also have Fel Striker, which is a rare drop off of Warchief Ren Blackhand in Upper Blackrock Spire. This one is, again, actually better than the Lobotomizer, but it's very difficult to get. So I put Lobotomizer as the one in the list, and I'm telling you now, if you can get a Fel Striker, yeah, it's a little bit better, and you'll want to use it. We finally have an option with getting rank 10 PvP gear. If you can manage to get rank 10 and get the shoulders and legs of the blue PvP set, you can drop your Devil Saw and switch the pieces of Dark Mantle that you're using. You switch out the shoulder for the glove, and then you equip your 2 pieces of rank 10 PvP gear, and this is a little bit better than the Devil Saw set setup. PvP isn't for everyone, so I included it as an option. You should know that it is better than the Devil Saw setup. Now, before we move on to the Phase 1 Best in Slot section with all the raid gear, I have this screen for you, which is wonderful. Has all the items you need for pre-raid and where to get them. So this is a great thing to screenshot, maybe print out, and you can check them off as you collect them in Season of Mastery. Moving on to the dagger setup with raid gear and your best in slot setup. Go down to only 4 pieces of the Dark Mantle set, and we have Perdition's Blade, Corehound Tooth, Striker's Mark, Band of Acuria, Bloodfang Pants, Nightslayer Belt, Age Core Leather Gloves, Onyxia Tooth Pendant, and Nightslayer shoulder pads from raids. Now you'll notice I did not include the Grand Marshal's Dirk or High Warlord's Razors, the rank 14 PvP weapons. These are better than the raid options, but for many players these won't be obtainable. You should know though that they are definitely better, roughly about plus 30 DPS compared to the raid options. And they will last you quite a long time. This is what your progression looks like for dagger weapons throughout all of Season of Mastery. In Phase 1, if you're just relying on raid drops, you've got Perdition's Blade and Corehound Tooth, but those are surpassed by the rank 14 PvP weapons, which finally get replaced in Phase 5 with Death's Sting and Blessed Karaji Pugio from Ahn'Qiraj, and then finally in Phase 6 you can get King's Fall off of Kel'Thuzad is your final and ultimate dagger setup. If you do want to get the rank 14 weapons, you absolutely can, and they will last you all the way till Phase 5. Now, we were saying at the start of this video that you may not be able to get all the items you want in each phase of Season of Mastery due to the faster release of the phases. This is a gear set that loses a little bit of DPS off of the best in slot setup, but uses far fewer raid drops. Only 4 items from the Phase 1 raids that are Perdition's Blade, Band of Acuria, Bloodfang Pants, and Nightslayer shoulder pads. Even if you wanted to, you could switch the shoulder pads for the Nightslayer belt, and you'd be in about the same position. It uses 5 fewer items than the true best in slot setup, and only loses about 15 DPS. So if you're looking to prioritize your raid loot, you want to prioritize Perdition's Blade, Band of Acuria, and Bloodfang Pants as your most significant items. Now, I know I recommend daggers throughout Phase 1 of Season of Mastery, but I wanted to touch on the sword setups as well. This is what you'll be looking at for your best in slot sword setup in Phase 1 of Season of Mastery, using Viscag the Bloodletter, Brutality Blade, and 6 pieces of the Dark Mantle set. The best off pieces to use will be the Nightslayer shoulder pads and the Bloodfang Pants. There's no reason to use aged core leather gloves because we're not using daggers anymore. Now, this is a fine choice for humans because they get a weapon skill racial that greatly improves their damage output with swords. You'll notice this setup on its own will only reach 305 weapon skill. You need that human racial to get up to that 308 breakpoint that is so important. A nice part about swords is that there's no positional requirement on your main damaging ability. This makes it much easier to blade flurry multiple enemies in a raid setting when the tanks aren't positioning them perfectly, which happens. If you manage to get the rank 14 weapons, this setup with rank 14 weapons is really just on par with the dagger setups. If you're going for rank 14, I would just go for the swords. And that's a wrap for your Phase 1 gear guide for rogues in Season of Mastery. I think rogues have absolutely the potential to be the top damage dealers in raids, especially with the earlier access to the very powerful Dark Mantle set compared to waiting till Phase 5 like we did in Classic. That'll be a big boost to rogues' power level in raids. Have fun and have a nice day. Thanks for watching the Simonize Show. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Can't wait for more sweet videos? Links are on screen that you can watch right now. Be sure to join the Discord server and pop by on Twitch to catch me live. Links to both are in the video description. Thank you for watching and have a great day.